Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So now, just last night, I've watched the film out of 2011 called Sanctum. This is kind of a cave diving adventure thriller, I would say, I guess. It's more built on terrifying moments than it is, adventure, I'd say, but it is truly an adventure at the end of the day. But yeah, this movie came out in 2011. I remember seeing it when it first came out. I remember not liking it too much, but mind you, I was a lot younger then, and yeah, I kind of just seen it when it first came out. Well, I've probably seen it a couple of times when it first came out. And yeah, and then I just rewatched it for the first time since, like, way back then, last night. And what I will say is it's not the greatest movie. It's directed by somebody, I don't know who exactly, and it's written by several people, but it's partially based on a true story, but not. One of the writers, and I think he might have been one of the producers or something like that too, experienced a situation like this. I'm not an expert on the exact story, but the brief bits that I did hear about was that it was not, all the people in the real situation survived, and it didn't go down exactly like in the movie, but it's kind of based off of the same sort of situations and the same kind of fear that comes along with that situation, right? So, I mean, the acting's all right. It's not terrible. It's okay. It's passable, but it's not the greatest. The main character, I forget his name. I don't know. Well, I never really knew his name, but I've seen him in other things. He's sort of like the leader of this expedition. He's a really good actor. He played a good role. I think he rocked that role up really well. But yeah, so back to the director, though. I have no idea actually who directed this, but I remember when it first came out, it's because the executive producer is James Cameron, but I remember they fully sold this movie as a James Cameron movie when it came out, like almost to the point where you would think it was directed by him, like it was the new big James Cameron film or something, but it wasn't. It was directed and written by other people. He was an executive producer. I've heard rumors, I mean, it's very true. It seems as though a lot of the contribution that James Cameron did to the film was his cameras. Like, it looks like it's his cameras and his submersibles and stuff like that they used to film this, especially for 3D. I didn't watch it in 3D. I just watched it on 2D Blu-ray, which I've had it, actually. I had this Blu-ray since it was a new release, like way back then. I just haven't rewatched it, but I don't think I ever seen it in 3D, actually. I always seen it in 2D, so I can't really judge there, but I could see how it was filmed for 3D. So I think there could be some sort of camera connection there with James Cameron. I mean, who knows? Maybe he had a lot of executive producing and a lot of ideas to involved in the project. I don't know, but yeah, basically it sold it as a lot more of a James Cameron movie than it actually is, really. But the movie's not that good. There's a few things that, when the storm, because they get blocked into the cave from a storm, and, they have all this hotshot technology and all that, you would think they would be able to detect the storm beforehand and either get out of there or do what they needed to do to be safe, but it seems kind of strange that it just came all of a sudden like that, especially with all the fancy tech and high up there people they had in this cave. But basically what I will say, though, is no matter what, the acting's kind of shoddy. Some of the flaws, they kind of just try to achieve a visually effective film and kind of ditch a lot of other things, which is kind of an annoyance. But what I will say is what they did achieve is they achieved beautiful sets. I don't know how much of this was shot on actual location, what CGI, what sets. It looks like a lot of sets to me, but they were very well done, very realistic looking, and if there was any sort of real landscape, actually out there, cinematography taking place, they did a really good job with that. It looked really terrifying, and it looked really cool, and looked really claustrophobic. Looked like the last place you'd ever want to be. Whether anybody had been there before or not, it looks like the last place you'd ever want to be. And yeah, I will say, at the end of the day, the movie's terrifying. Like, all of the scenes that involve peril and all the deaths, they're really gruesome. Like, I don't mean, like, they're gory, but I don't mean so much in, like, a flashy, gory way. Like, they're really, truly disgusting in a lot of ways, and very claustrophobic. And anytime somebody's drowning, anytime somebody's stuck, anytime somebody's panicking, anytime the lights go out, anytime something goes wrong, it truly is terrifying. Like, I mean, I've seen some other reviews. Most of the reviews that I've seen came out from way back when this was released, but I will say a lot of people didn't seem to find it that terrifying and kind of laughed off a lot of the really scary scenes as whatever. But I don't know, to me, they did a really claustrophobic job, and they did a really good job at conveying fear and panic underwater, and in situations like that. Like, that's like, you know, I'm an avid swimmer, I'm an avid ocean person, whatever, all that kind of stuff, and still, this is something that very few people, I think, would be brave enough to do. And it's definitely no place I'd want to go, no matter how much I love diving and swimming and going in the water, and even doing the odd somewhat claustrophobic cave kind of a trip. Never anything that claustrophobic, and never anything that panic-stricken, and never anything quite that dangerous. And I don't think I'd ever want to, and I don't think I ever intend to, and I think I'd be perfectly happy and satisfied not ever seeing situations or places like that, regardless of how adventuristic it is, or whether people had seen it before or not. So yeah, basically, at the end of the day, the only kudos I can really give to the movie is terrifying, really good job at conveying fear, panic, and underwater terror and claustrophobia, all of that. Really good sets, landscape, and CGI, all of that. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty shoddy acting. It kind of tells, it doesn't have a lot of cinema value. It kind of tells the story strictly from the perspective of these people that are, you know, so radically into this kind of a thing, that it has no kind of cinema value to draw anybody that's a little bit or a lot distant from this kind of a thing in any sort of way. You know, I think it is, at the end of the day, kind of a throwaway IMAX experience, which I mean is all IMAX experiences, or all 3D experiences, are kind of interesting and are kind of exhilarating and shocking and terrifying and cool in their own way, but they're not something you'd want to do all the time, and they're not just like what you look for just for entertainment value in a film. They're something that you do as an experience from time to time, once in a while, and you're sort of like, whoa, that was whatever, and then move on. So it's kind of, there's a reason that there's no reviews other than mine since 2011. I think the nearest one was from like 6 years ago or something like that, whatever year that was, but the rest of them are all from 2011 when it came out. So I think there's a reason why it is a fairly throwaway, like, as a revisit review. I will say it's not necessarily, I don't say throwaway movie, like, it's worth a rewatch. It's a good movie and all that, but at the end of the day, it's best served as, yeah, like a big screen experience, a 3D experience, an IMAX experience, you know, some sort of 4D ride experience or whatever. And other than that, you know, you take it as the experience it was and go, whoa, and, you know, give a quick yahoo. And other than that, it's not something that you're going to become emotionally attached to in any sort of way, at least from my perspective anyway. So for grading the movie, I think I'm going to give it a B+. I think I'm going to give it a B+. It achieves the terror and the visuals that it needed to create a worthy experience. So I will give it a B+. And for the cheese grading, I don't know, I think maybe this is like mozzarella or something. Like, they did a good job on the cheese for what it is, But unless you're serving it on a certain dish to people that are specifically wanting that dish, it might not be the best thing to grab off the grocery store shelf. Alright, so that's my review for Sanctum, everybody, and thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed.